first of all, Sean, will Mr. Barrasso and Mr. Cassidy continue to ask demanding questions, or is the hearing just kind of a one-off?
I think Barrasso will continue to ask demanding questions, but that's fine. I
Okay.
think Kennedy crushed it though yesterday. I told you yesterday. I think that there are two worlds in which this hearing is being looked at. Every single person in Maha world was excited about how well he did yesterday. He crushed it.
He contains multitudes, and I've spoken very favorably about a lot of his messaging, but I don't know how you can say he crushed it when he lied repeatedly and he was attacked repeatedly by Republicans. How can you say that's
No,
crushing?
repeatedly about Republicans, Barrasso
And
uh
Tillis
and
and Tillis
well,
and Cassidy,
okay,
all three
and
of them.
Cassidy,
You
all
call it
who I
attacks.
mean,
All three of them called him a liar. In effect, all three of them called him a danger to public health. So I don't
yeah,
know
and I think
how the
that
number
when you
two
look at how the
Republican in the
Democrats
Senate.
handled themselves, because I think I was embarrassed of both Virginia senators. What Tim Kaine said yesterday about our rights not coming from a creator was embarrassing. I mean, that was a separate hearing, but I actually think he did a great job of pointing out the flaws in the CDC, the FDA, talking about what they've done in the past to undermine public health. So having this conversation is extremely important, and I thought he did a fantastic job.
I've never been more dumbfounded by anything you said on the program.
Really.
Yeah, never.
Well, I'm just going to tell you. Then you need to open your aperture to a lot more of what's every single
Do,
person
do,
that
do
is
you think? Do you think
prominent in the
he?
Maha move.
Yeah. Do you think he lied yesterday?
About what? I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I
I
don't.
mean, you know what? At the
40,
end of
40, 40. He lied about 40 things. I could name a couple if you'd
To
like.
give me one, but I think to say
Sure.
like I didn't watch the entire hearing from.
he said you have access to the COVID vaccine if you want it. That is not true.
Yes,
It's
it
not
is.
true. No, it is
How
not.
is that not true?
Not the same access.
Because
Well, wait.
health
But again,
insurance
see, now
and
you're
certain-
twisting his words. Okay, I
No.
saw the exchange with Elizabeth
No.
Warren. He said you still have access, and she said not the same. Okay,
He
well,
said
not
he
the,
said he said he never said more people were killed by the vaccine than died from COVID.
And
He
by
said,
the way, you do not have access. And I forget who the member of Congress's wife who is now having trouble getting it because the pharmacy said
it's Eric Erickson's wife who wrote a letter to Cassidy.
So look, all I'll say is this is our first 80-20 issue, and I would personally pay for RFK to keep opening his mouth. Just keep doing it. Even Trump's own pollster is warning people that the majority of Republicans believe in vaccines. Forget independents and forget Democrats. So Maha is 5%. The RFK coalition is at best 5% of the electorate.
I don't believe that.
I don't think that's true. That's not true.
How many votes would RFK get?
It's not about that. It's about how many people believe that the government and big pharma and big food are hurting kids.
Wait a second.
He's contributed historically on those issues.
But
I
Mark,
agree with you.
Split
John,
food off.
but-
Split food off on vaccines. He is in the minority. It is our 80-20 issue, not food.
To me, it's not even his issue positions. To have a cabinet secretary lie repeatedly at a hearing.
Because it's all
and just to be clear,
is.
Biden cabinet members lied repeatedly at hearings. This isn't a partisan thing. I'll call out anybody who lies at a hearing. This guy lied repeatedly. And
he has no data. He
Sean,
has no facts.
Sean, the number 2 Republican in the Senate effectively called him a liar. I mean, I don't know how that can be successful.
But again,
you can say
so
you can say the
clip that he
politics
had with the CDC.
You can say the politics of it are great because the base loves it, and I'll say okay, maybe, but that's not what I care about. What I care about is a cabinet secretary in charge of an enormous portion of the budget, a cabinet secretary in charge of the health of our kids, and a cabinet secretary in charge of Medicare and Medicaid. Because he contains multitudes, and because he is nuts, and because the White House can't get him out of control, lied repeatedly, so much so that the number 2 Republican, John Barrasso, who I can't remember ever being the slightest bit critical of anything with Trump associated with it, said to him as a doctor, "Sir, no." That can't be considered a success in my America.
Okay, I think that the only exchange I saw with Barrasso had to deal with the firing of the CDC head.
No, Barrasso said vaccines are great. What are you doing? I'm paraphrasing. I say with respect, I don't think you watched enough of the hearing to necessarily judge it fully, because I watched a lot of it, and I'm flabbergasted Even the press, which is normally so anti-Trump, I don't think covered it sufficiently and put in sharp enough relief, not just the politics of Barrasso being critical. You can't have cabinet secretary in charge of public health lie repeatedly.
You know what was beautiful about that? And you're going to see Democrats saying there needs to be accountability and oversight of this White House. And they're going to roll the tapes. And that message is going to be so powerful. It already was powerful in even Republican focus groups. Now you're going to say, should RFK have stricter oversight?
But so look, here's the one thing I'll say. If we're going down this thing, we're calling people. Mark Warner repeatedly asked him a question about how many people died. No, okay. But knowing what we know now about how hospitals used COVID deaths, just anyone who walked into a hospital got ruled as a COVID death.
But then, Sean,
we know that the data was manipulated.
Then give a minimum number. I don't think the guy knows the minimum number. He knows.
Do you know the minimum number?
I'm not the head of HHS.
Okay, but my point is what he said, the answer that RFK gave is that the data is so conflicting on this issue. I actually believe that's true. Why is that a lie? The bottom line is we know, if you want to talk about who lied, it was medical professionals that actually covered up the number of deaths.
I didn't say he lied about the number of people who died. I just think, Sean, that they say Maha's great and Democrats handled COVID badly. Both true. But non-responsive to the question of, do you want to live in a country where the person in charge of our public health goes to a hearing, supposedly prepared, and lies to members of both parties repeatedly? I just don't want to live in that country. Just think it's hard.
I think if you're going to say the word that someone lied, then give specifics about
I'll give you topic. You want to spend the whole show on this? I'll give you specifics.
No, but actually,
he was asked, did you ever, why did you say more people died from the vaccine than from COVID? And he said, I never said it. He lied. He did say it.
Okay. And again, here's what my point would be. Then come back, if you're that member, which is what I used to do as a committee staffer, come back and say, here's on the record what you said on this day. I didn't see that exchange. But if you're going to make that accusation, then say, this is exactly what you said. What you're shaking, but that's how you do it. You know this, Mark. You do it all the time. You come in and you say, you said this on March 1st, 2022, If you're going to make that accusation that somebody lied, then come with the receipts.